Hello, everyone, and welcome to Creative Comedic Conversations with Christians, or C4 for short, because the laughs are explosive.
Most definitely.
I am your well hydrated host, Ross Green, and I am happy to be joined by none other than the Life Point Church youth pastor, Pastor Blake White. What's up, buddy? Welcome
How's
to
it
the
going,
show.
man? Thanks for having me. It's nice.
Yeah.
First time, so be gentle when you like and love these videos. No angry faces, or
Yeah.
please share.
Or also just be honest with your reactions. Blake really loves criticism. If there's anything I know about
Absolutely, love
him, yes, there's nothing that makes me feel better on a rainy day than someone telling me, "Hey, you are bad." Anyways,
Right.
All right. So, just to give everybody context, now today, me and Pastor Blake are going to have a fun, lighthearted conversation about nature. Because when I asked Pastor Blake what he is interested in, he said, and I'm quoting, "I'm fascinated with nature."
Had no clue we were going this route either. I might have said something different, just it'd been easier on me, but
So just to qualify though, so does that mean you stare at trees and just go, wow? Or is it more like science, like how things got there? Because in that case, what a nerd.
A little bit of both, to be honest. Sometimes I catch myself just staring randomly at the trees blowing in the wind, but I do love Mother Nature in general, like the science part of it. Nerd, maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but I love nature. I really, maybe in the past I stared at it a lot, but now I just glance at it while I'm driving down the road.
Is that because, like in football, you always get knocked down and staring at grass?
Yeah, pretty much. I ate a lot of dirt back then too.
It's just part of you. Um, so your interest in nature is real, which is great.
Absolutely.
But let's be honest, you probably haven't always been nice to nature. So what's the stupidest thing you've done in nature that is, of course, appropriate for the podcast?
Well, I used to be a litter bug, which was horrible. That's not a litter bug anymore at all. You can look at the inside of my truck and tell I do not throw trash out the window. I've set the woods on fire before by accident and thought we were going to call the fire department. That's happened before. Funny story. First time ever using a chainsaw. Never used one before. Never knew there was actually like a way to cut a tree down, like a technique to it. Thought you just cut it. So I was working for an elder gentleman. I'm not going to name his name, but cleaning up tree limbs stuff, and he told me to take the chainsaw and cut the trees down. So I was out there cutting away, and we used a golf cart and a trailer to put the tree limb stuff in. Well, when I cut the tree down, it fell on the golf cart, crushed the golf cart, broke the trailer axles, all kind of good stuff. So I lost my summer job that year. But that was one of the things. Some other things that I guess I've done to Mother Nature that weren't so nice. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty nice to Mother Nature, I feel like. Almost tree hugger style.
I feel you. It's funny though. It's like nowadays it's like real easy to like mess up Mother Nature because like somebody's like, "Oh, that thing you did, it was bad." It was like, I'm like, what? I was just breathing. Like
everything's like that now.
Yeah, it's like it's funny. You're talking about how you don't litter anymore. The thing that stopped me from like, it's not that I've ever been a litter bug ever. It's just that as soon as I started reading, and I started reading those signs going down the road that it's a $10,000 fine to litter.
That's what stopped.
Which I'm sure like there's a handful of people that get caught for that. But at the same time, it's like, oh wait, it's a possibility. Listen, I don't plan like any time in the near future having $10,000 in my wallet, especially at like 6, which is when I started reading. So like I'm like, no, you guys, here, I'll throw it like on the floor of my mom's vehicle.
I think one of my eye openers on that one was one of my brother's friends chewed me out for it one time. I threw a cup out his truck window. But my parents moved to a new house, and it was right by the highway. And I was out in the yard all the time having to pick up trash in the ditch where people would come out and throw it out. I'm like, what idiots would throw trash out the window right in front of this house. I was like, wait, I'm the idiot that does that. So I immediately stopped doing it, and then just realized
It's
bad.
a little different when it's your problem,
Right.
Right. Like everybody always thinks, like, oh, the prisoners are gonna pick that up. No, no, it's not like that.
No, I'm like, man, I gotta
Uh,
give them something to do. I know they want to get out, but
I know working at Shell Rapidly in the car wash area. The worst thing I think people do is like they throw like whole bags of trash on the ground,
yeah,
or like, but they also throw like tons of change on the ground. So I'm like, at least they're paying me for it, you know.
I agree.
All right, so we've talked about some of the dumb things you've done in nature. Now
Yeah.
let's talk about some of the things nature have done to you. What's like the worst thing that nature has done to you?
Nature's done some pretty cruel stuff to me. I guess one of the things is a little short story I have. My granddad bought it's called a Volkswagen Thing. I don't know if any of y'all know what a Volkswagen Thing is. It's in the movie 50 First Dates. It's like the little yellow car. Well, he had one. Well, apparently these Volkswagens were designed to like float on water. I don't really know if it ever like actually you could do it like a boat, like a water boat. You can drive and it floats. Didn't really have a clue about that. Well, my brother was like, let's drive it. So my granddad said, okay, y'all can drive it. Take it out for a test drive. Beautiful day. There's no roof on it whatsoever. It's completely topless, like nothing. Well, we're driving down the road, and all of a sudden a storm just comes. I mean, we done went all the way across town in this thing, and it's stick shift, and it only goes like 35 miles an hour, not very fast. Well, it started storming out of nowhere. Didn't even know it was going to happen. So we're trying to make it back across town in this slow, bright yellow car. Not only are we getting flooded on just because, I mean, there's no roof, like I said, the windshield wipers don't work, but I noticed my feet were getting really wet, and I looked down, the car's filling up with water because it's like a boat. It's meant to float, and there's apparently a plug in the car somewhere where you pull the plug so it drains the water. Well, we didn't know where it was, so my whole upper half was completely soaking wet, and I was about knee deep sitting in a car riding in water. It was a tragic day, but that was pretty embarrassing too when we rolled back up at the shop, soaking wet like that. Let's see, something else nature has done to me. When the hurricane come through, it caused me to get out in the yard and burn a bunch of calories because I had to pick up probably 1 million limbs in the yard. I didn't like that at all. I didn't appreciate that at all, Mother Nature. Thank you. I mean, I'm sure it didn't hurt me to burn some calories, but I literally spent like 3 days picking up tree limbs, and we had no power, so it wasn't like I could go back in the cool AC and hang out and drink some cold water because I had no power, no fridge, no nothing. So that's pretty much about it as far as being cruel to me, I think.
You talk about the time during the tornado. I remember we had a tree fall across our backyard.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and so we had
Took out the Coca-Cola room. Sorry, Miss Tam.
Don't. It's still tender. Anyways, I mean, mostly just like how much money we spent on that Coca-Cola stuff, but
never mind the tree in the house, like in the dining room.
I mean that's we fixed that. It's fine. It looks better now, honestly.
Coca-Cola artifacts.
Yeah. But now that we don't have any Coca-Cola stuff in there, it looks great. But I remember not that time, but the tornado before, because that time we were the only house in town that had a tree go through there.
That was rough.
But in 2007, when the tornado came through, I remember I had to spend till 9, 10 o'clock at night outside chopping up limbs and cutting them into logs.
That night it happened, we come back to town to help people because obviously tornado just ripped through our town. So I got we got all our tools, chainsaws, anything we could get. And I had about 10 flashlights, and I just got like these cool. I don't know if any of y'all remember. I don't remember what year it was, but it's like when they come out with those little shake flashlights. The no battery, you just shake it. Awesome flashlights. Well, I had 2-3 packs of those that I got for Christmas. Took them out into the city of Americus after the tornado come through. Was handing them out like, hey, y'all can use this flashlight, and realized that I lost all 10 flashlights. My cool shake lights that I just got for Christmas, everything. People just took them. I mean, I wanted them to use them, but like in the same area that I was in. I didn't mean like get in your car and drive down the road and take my flashlight.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's like, or not really funny thing. It's more of like in like tragic situations
Yeah.
like that. People assume when you're handing things out, it's like, oh, it's for them
Right.
to keep because it's an emergency crisis
I
time.
mean, only have $100 Maglite. Yeah, you can have this.
Sure,
Or-
yeah, whatever. So, as uh, as you've probably seen in your life, because you've been places, done things, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I've been around a little bit.
Nature comes in many forms. So, to ask you the ultimate dating profile question, do you prefer the mountains or the beach, and why?
That could go either way. The mountains are absolutely beautiful. The views are beautiful. What better than to be on top of a mountain with your loved one, looking at this beautiful view, looking at your beautiful loved one, back and forth. That's great times. There's not much to do up there, so like if you and your significant other don't like hiking or enjoying nature like I do, then I wouldn't suggest it. But probably the beach is where I would say, just because I love the ocean. There's so much you can do there, and for some people that don't know, I obviously just proposed there. So I mean,
Woo!
that's where I would probably take my loved one is to the beach, since I did just propose at the beach, which was fun and awkward and cool all at the same time. Random people videoing you and cheering you on as you propose on one knee. Not to mention that people called me out on my pictures because I was wearing blue jeans on the beach with shoes, kneeling down in the water. I don't know what was going on, but I would say the ocean probably. I mean, do you like the ocean more than the mountains?
Let's see. I've always been more of a mountain guy.
Well, I like the cool air too. I hate
Yeah.
the sun burning my skin because I burn fairly easy.
Because for me, like, I associate the mountains with like towns like Helen, where
Yeah.
like there's a lot of cool things going on in
Yeah.
Helen. If you've never been to Helen, Georgia, do yourself a favor, go. It's a really fun place to be.
There's a bunch of cool candy shops and stuff.
Yeah, like and like if you go to this place called the Bavarian Inn, they have a giant pretzel. I mean, giant, like as big as this little table we have right
I don't
here.
think I've been there. I should
It's like
try
down
that.
like a weird alley. Yeah, that's how you get to it.
Yeah, see, I never had good experiences with weird alleys, but I'll try it.
But also it has wonderful hiking if you're really into nature, which is the point of the show. But for me, and here's the thing, it's not that I dislike the beach, it's that I always liked the hotel and the restaurants surrounding the beach
Yeah.
better than I liked the beach
See,
itself.
I love seafood, and
Yeah.
that's probably like the winner right there.
That was the best. Honestly, that was one of the best things about my brother's bachelor trip. Right, they went deep sea fishing.
Yeah.
I was not able to afford it because I was in college,
Yeah,
and it was like you
I've
never
been there.
you never have enough money when you're in college to do anything. But they did because they were all like up in their upper 30s. I'm like younger 20s. They're all like reaching 30.
Right.
I have no, like, I don't really even relate to them. I'm really confused why I'm there, other than the fact that I'm related to the guy whose honor of the trip we're going on, I guess.
The guru.
That dude. I don't know wedding talks. What?
I've gotten very familiar with it in the past few weeks.
Yeah, Mister. Every time I talk to you, it's like, I've been so busy with wedding stuff. I'm like,
Well, Lauren's been busy with wedding stuff. I've been trying to help as much as possible.
he's like,
If we're being honest, I'll get in trouble if I'm not honest right now. Later on.
it's like, let's just give Blake some simple decisions to make.
Just make them feel included. Do you like
Yeah.
this? I love it. Well, I don't. We're going this way. Okay.
Yeah, it's like we'll give you an opinion, not a
Right.
decision. But the best thing about that trip was that they went and did the deep sea fishing. I stayed in the hotel room. I laid down on that bed, ate a large pizza by myself,
Nice.
just chilled, and they went caught the fish. Later that night, I ate the fish. Like I was
How
like,
convenient.
I didn't have to do any of the work, but I got free seafood out of it, so it was cool. I didn't pay for the room. I didn't do anything. I was just there. But I mean, so yeah, the beach. I feel like is for me being on the actual beach has never been like the most fun part because the sand is like hot and the water
Yeah.
is salty, and it's just like
I just like the idea of just sitting there and doing nothing. That's a great
Yeah.
plan. That's
if
why I love
as long as you're like you have like the proper lotion on and
umbrella, man.
umbrella, all
Umbrella's
that
the way to
stuff.
go,
Well hydrated, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely drink a lot of water at the beach.
Gatorades.
Only water at the beach.
Yeah, that exactly. Not
Um,
the salt water.
yeah.
Just bottled water.
yeah, bottled water. Or you could do like I do and carry around a giant 1 gallon canteen everywhere and look like a psychopath. Like I look like I'm carrying a weapon everywhere.
This dude's always thirsty.
It's like, dude, guys, listen, you don't even understand, bro.
Just tell everybody you're trying to get your gallon in a day or something.
Yeah. Nowadays, it feels like I've been drinking like 2 gallons. I go outside, is like, dude, yeah, I got to drink 2 gallons to make up for all the sweat I've lost standing out in the sun for 5 minutes.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
I'm starting to break a sweat sitting here in an AC building
Yeah.
under lights. I mean,
Yeah. I think they turned the AC off on us. They think we didn't need it. So I think
that's
it's what
kind
it
of
was.
messed up. Like 2 big guys, no AC.
Yeah. Shoot, they know we like food.
Already slightly nervous, like
Yeah.
sitting up here talking.
Nah, you're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah.
Thanks.
Um, anyways, so we've asked about the dumb things. We've asked about the way that the nature has hurt you or messed you up. Let's talk about the fun things you've done in nature. What is like the funnest thing you've ever done in nature?
Done a lot of things fun. Probably one of my greatest, fondest memories was snow skiing, and I love snow skiing. It's amazing, you know, that we can get so much snow that my big tail can just ski down it and not sink in it. So, I mean, it's a great time. It's cool. You don't sweat. I love it. Yeah, it's probably one of the funnest things I've ever done in nature. Another thing, I think I've told you this. I jumped out an airplane. Yeah, jumped slam out of it, skydiving.
He didn't even have a parachute. He was just like
Definitely had a parachute with some guy like attached to my back. It was great times. But
talk about having a monkey on your
you
back.
talk about seeing you talk about seeing Mother Nature in a different perspective. I mean, it's like death to life, falling up high is crazy. You see your life flash before your eyes. I mean, it's just nuts.
It's like
incredible.
you're questioning like all your decisions.
Right.
Like,
I mean, when I was going up, like when we were going up, you know, altitude, I was like, "It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be awesome." Getting myself pumped up, lean over the edge. She's like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Blake, you are an idiot. What are you thinking?" He said 1, 2, and then we went, and I screamed a lot, pretty much the whole time. And
I mean, I feel like that's the appropriate response to falling.
right,
from-
it was incredible. Like it was, just, I don't know. You can't really explain it unless you do it. But there's nothing else like it in the world. That was probably a highlight time of my life, jumping out of an airplane. I know it sounds crazy, but it really was pretty cool.
You know, and the thing is for guys like us, gravity works a lot harder on us. So.
right. So I mean, people tell me you're crazy, you're stupid. And you want to do it again? Absolutely. I would jump every week if I could, but I can't afford it. So
Yeah, I remember you know my Uncle Bob and Will,
Yeah.
my cousin. They were going
They went.
skydiving. They did it like a few times.
yeah, because he and I were supposed to go my first time, but it didn't work out that way.
And they were always talking about how like exhilarating it is and all that stuff. And then I asked him how much it cost, and I was like, "I'll never be doing that.
Not paying that much to
Yeah.
possibly die is not
It's like
happening.
if you guys want to pay for me to do that, I guess. Like,
I'm telling you, it's so much fun.
also talking about jumping out of a plane. My stepdad, he was in the military, and that's what he did. He was a paratrooper guy. He was in the 82nd Airborne,
It's
and
awesome.
to this day, he will not. He hates getting on an airplane.
What?
Because he's scared they're gonna push him out of it.
And how many jumps did he make? I mean, I'm sure a lot.
I think it was like to the point where he jumped so much. I think he was in the military in like 76. I think either that or it's the amount of times he jumped out of an airplane was 76. But his his like
one of the
handle-
two folks. We're not quite sure.
Yeah, his handle though is like jumping junkie. Like that was his like handle back in the day.
So apparently he enjoyed it then.
At a certain point, he was young enough and tough enough to be like, "This is great."
Which they say as you get older, I guess things like that change. Like I know some people that used to love doing crazy, wild things and weren't scared of heights, and now they're absolutely terrified of heights as they've gotten older. But I don't know. That's not me. I don't think.
You're not quite old enough for that yet.
No,
I mean
not.
you're up there, but
No, I'm not that bad. 30's a good age.
30's okay. Wait till he hits 40. He's gonna
Yeah.
be complaining about like his aches and pains, and
I'm hardly complaining about that.
yeah. Well, Right. So there's another question. Right. Okay. Moving on. So nature has like these crazy things that it does, right?
Right.
These crazy phenomenons. We're talking about like your northern lights, your things
Which
like
I've
that,
never seen. I want to see.
right? Like take me to Alaska, right? Or
I don't know
Up
if it's.
there.
I've been to Alaska. I didn't see it. I don't think it's there. I think it's. Not
is
quite-
it like Norwegian or something?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Frozen makes me think it's Norwegian. Anyways, okay. So one time, I was sitting just like I had like Sunday off, and I was like, okay, everyone keeps talking about Frozen. I have Disney Plus, so I went on there and watched every Frozen thing they had.
Oh my goodness.
And so I watched the Frozen Lego thing that they had on there, and the whole like thing was about the Northern Lights. And I know Frozen is supposed to be in like the Norway area, so I'm like, is it like only like a Northern European thing? Like
I couldn't tell you.
I'm like, I don't know. This thing it looks cool, I guess. But back to the question. So nature has a lot of phenomenons, right? What would you say, based off of the ones you've actually seen, are like the thing is like your favorite thing that nature does?
It's hard to say that it's my favorite because so many people would disagree with it, but I have to. I mean, I love tornadoes. Now, let me get this straight. I don't like tornadoes ripping up cities and people's homes, so I don't like that at all. If it could just go out in the middle of a field, that would be awesome. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that with Mother Nature. She kind of does what she wants to do. But the tornado itself is one of the most fascinating things to me. As a matter of fact, I used to, my brother and I, when we were younger, like, man, we're going to be storm chasers, chase tornadoes. And I realized they make absolutely zero money, and you have to be kind of smart. So I was like, nah, done with that. And but I've seen 2 tornadoes in person. One time we were playing travel ball in Winter Haven, Florida. We're on the baseball field, and the alarm went off, and we turned around and looked. And, I mean, I don't know how many miles. It was a good ways away, but you could see this huge funnel cloud just coming down. So, naturally, we ran, jumped in the bed of the trucks. We're hauling tail. Hauling tail to the hotel, and the whole time we're just in the bed of the truck, just like watching this massive tornado just, move its way down. And it never came to the city we're in, but, I mean, in its own sense, it was beautiful. It was awesome. And then I saw another one here in Georgia. Wasn't very big like that one was, but it was still pretty impressive. I don't know, something about them. They just come out of nowhere and do their thing.
Tornadoes are odd because so like a tornado is when a hot and a cold front meet, right, and they swirl around each other, and that's what causes a tornado to happen. And it's also weird because like normally when you think of a storm, right, the clouds are like gray and the outside is dark, but in a tornado, that's not the case. Like the sun is still shining.
Yeah,
the clouds are like pink,
and then like in the dead center, it's just beautiful.
Yeah,
like, all the way up to the top.
Like you watch those like weather radars, and you like see people. They have that like sky view camera. Like I would like if there was a way I could do that without being sucked into it. I would love to look down on a tornado, look into the eye of the tornado.
I mean, do you remember the old movie Twister?
Yeah, I remember
Twister. Love to be out there setting Dorothy out like in the Twister in the middle of it. That'd be awesome. But like I said, they just don't pay enough money for.
Speaking of Twister, did you ever ride the Twister ride at Universal?
No, I've never been to Universal.
Okay, so
no, I was deprived.
I went one time. I was too young to go. I should have waited till I was older and actually liked roller coasters and things like that. But
you were terrified, weren't you?
Yeah, no. The Hulk is. I'm like a child, and the Hulk is like a ginormous loop. Anyways, so we go on the Twister ride. I had never seen the movie at that point.
Oh, so I'm sure this is amazing.
So and I'm sitting here in there, and so I'm a kid. and like I'm sitting there in this chair and like I'm moving around and it like feels like I'm. They're supposed to make you feel like you're being sucked up into a tornado. Yeah. And I was like, oh, so this is what tornadoes are like. Oh, they're not that bad. I don't know why everybody complains about them. 2007 comes around. There's a giant tree in my backyard. I'm
This
like,
is not like the ride at
yeah,
Universal.
this sucks.
Where's
Oh,
the cow?
Also, where's the power? Why is there like no? Why can't I like have AC in this ride? Because it's like, oh, I guess I'll just sit here by lamplight and read my little library books. I guess.
No, tornadoes are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Something else kind of small and random is shooting stars. Is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I enjoy, just driving down the road and seeing them. And sometimes I feel like they're asteroids coming down. It's just shooting star. They're huge.
Yeah, which is really funny because like if you thought they were asteroids coming down, you must like. If I thought it was an asteroid coming down, every time I saw a shooting star, I'd probably like, I don't know, just being real.
I mean, just like massive explosion. It's like, what is that?
I would be terrified every single time I saw one. Like, ah, no, no,
Is that ET?
not this way, not this way.
ET?
So, do you ever wish upon a shooting star?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Every time.
Is that how Lauren happened?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That was all prayer, and God was blessing you.
That
And
was definitely God blessing me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
it was like, dude, I just feel sorry for this guy.
We,
No, I'm just-
we speak about like God blessing us, multitudes of things we don't deserve. That's a blessing, and I bless her heart. But I love her.
bless her heart. It's
Yeah.
like everybody. I remember the first time. I think I was visiting because this was when I lived in Canada, and I came back to town, and you showed me a picture of her, and I was like, "How did you do that?"
How much did you pay her to take that
Like,
picture with you?
Yeah, it's like, oh, come on, you guys look way too like. This is obviously photoshopped.
Absolutely not.
I mean, but hey, good on you. Good,
Thanks.
Back
Back to shooting stars.
to shooting stars.
Yeah, that's one of the other things. Small things I find pretty cool. I mean, just storms in general, lightning. I love watching. Lightning. All that stuff is beautiful to me. Some people are terrified of it, but those kind of things I enjoy. I enjoy just watching, I guess.
It's funny how some of the most dangerous things are somewhat the most beautiful.
Right,
things.
extremely destructive, but beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, like lightning. Like I don't ever want to be struck by lightning.
No.
As someone who's experienced mild electricity going through my body, I don't want to deal with like
I've been down that path before. Cut
Yeah.
the wrong wire one time. While
yeah,
watching
just
it.
or actually just recently I was weed eating outside and my stepdad replaced our wire because we have an electric fence in our backyard because of our dogs. So he replaced the wire with like this weird like rope wire mixture thing. Like it's like almost like it's really
Forgot to tell you.
it's cheap thread is basically what it is. And no, I mean I knew it was there and I knew it was cut, right? But the grass had gotten so tall that I couldn't see it. So like I was sitting there cutting, like doing the thing, and I figured since the wire's cut, he must have turned it off, right?
Right.
So I cut it. It wraps around the weed eater, and I'm like, okay, I'll take it off with my hands. All of a sudden, it's like, oh no!
I've been down that road. I've ran into an electric fence before. I just walked right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even see it coming. Right
That's
there
a very Blake thing. to
right there on
do,
the neck. It's
just
like a
run into an
thin
electric
wire. I know. It's the story of my life.
fence.
Run to it.
Yeah. See, that's why you're fascinated with trees. You just kept running into so many trees that
guess.
you just had to love it.
I
Our-
did run into a tree on a go-kart one time. Actually, I didn't do it. My brother was driving. And I was like younger, and I was
Mhm.
sitting like in the front, like in his lap. And he just ran slamming into the tree, and I just pop hit my head right on it. Almost killed me.
and
I
you've
started-
never been the same since.
I know. I wonder why. Knocked some sense into me or out of me. Which one
Yeah.
was it?
Either.
We'll never know.
Yeah. It's like how many licks it takes to get to the center of Tootsie Roll Pop.
Right.
The world may never know. So we talked about Lauren, and I think it's time we ask this question. As much as you love nature, would you say there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, and ain't no river wide enough to keep you from her?
Absolutely. There's
Yeah.
nothing.
Boom. Brownie points. Yeah.
You heard it.
You're welcome. Anyways, with that being said, we have come to our natural conclusion here. thank you so much for joining me on this walk through the jungle that is Blake's thoughts on nature. I've been your host, Ross Green. Go out into life and have an amazing life. Let it explode with joy and laughter, just like C4. Keep it real.